Welcome back to Cogito Ergo Loquor. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most anticipated potential matchups in MMA, Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria, a dominant lightweight champion against the newly crowned featherweight king. In the UFC, both with elite skills, but only one can come out on top. Why will Makhachev win? That's the question we're tackling today. Many fans see Topuria as the next unstoppable force, but we're here to break down why Makhachev has the tools, the experience, and the style to shut him down. We'll analyze Makhachev's superior grappling and Dagestani wrestling, the size and strength difference between lightweight and featherweight, Topuria's striking, and whether it's enough to neutralize Makhachev's game, fight IQ, experience, and cardio. Who has the real edge? We're bringing facts, analysis, and fight breakdowns to explain why Islam Makhachev will beat Ilia Topuria if they ever step into the octagon. So buckle up and get ready for a deep dive into this potential super fight. Let's get started. Islam Makhachev's greatest weapon in this fight is his superior grappling and Dagestani wrestling. His background in Sambo, a discipline that has produced some of the most dominant grapplers in MMA, gives him a clear advantage over Ilia Topuria when it comes to control, pressure, and takedown efficiency. Makhachev has showcased his ability to dictate where the fight takes place, effortlessly dragging elite strikers and well-rounded opponents into his world. Fighters like Charles Oliveira, Alexander Volkanovski, and Dustin Poirier have all struggled against high-level wrestling, and Makhachev has refined this art to a degree that few can counter. His ability to blend chain wrestling with top pressure makes him a nightmare for anyone who isn't an elite defensive wrestler. Topuria, on the other hand, has shown solid grappling, but his success has mostly come from explosive takedowns and aggressive submissions, rather than sustained control. While his background in wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is respectable, he has never faced a grappler of Makhachev's caliber. Against fighters like Bryce Mitchell, he was able to impose his will, but Mitchell lacks the positional dominance and relentless pressure that Makhachev brings. Another key factor is Makhachev's ability to neutralize strikers by closing the distance and eliminating their ability to set up offense. His entries are methodical, and once he secures a body lock or a leg, his opponents rarely escape. Against a fighter like Topuria, who relies on explosive movements and precision striking, Makhachev's ability to dictate pace through grappling could completely shut down his opponent's game. Cardio also plays a role. Makhachev's grappling-heavy style forces opponents to work at an exhausting pace, constantly defending takedowns and struggling to regain control. This has broken many high-level fighters before, and Topuria, who hasn't been tested in deep waters against elite wrestlers, may find himself overwhelmed. Ultimately, Makhachev's Dagestani wrestling and ability to dictate the fight's pace give him a significant edge. Unless Topuria develops an elite takedown defense or drastically improves his ability to fight off his back, he will likely struggle against the relentless pressure that Makhachev brings. One of the most overlooked aspects of a potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria is the sheer difference in size and strength. Makhachev is a natural lightweight, having competed in the division for his entire UFC career, while Topuria has spent the majority of his time at featherweight, only moving up to lightweight briefly earlier in his career. This difference in physicality could play a decisive role in determining the outcome of the fight. Makhachev's frame and natural weight advantage would give him a significant edge in grappling exchanges. The Dagestani fighter walks around at approximately 180 to 185 pounds outside of fight camp, cutting down to 155 pounds for lightweight competition. This means that on fight night, he likely rehydrates back to around 170 to 175 pounds, making him a true lightweight with considerable mass behind his grappling. His strength and ability to control opponents have been evident against large elite lightweights such as Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, and Drew Dober, all of whom struggled under his pressure. On the other hand, Topuria is a small featherweight by comparison. While he is thickly built and muscular, he stands at 5'7" with a 69-inch reach, significantly shorter and smaller than most top lightweights. Even at featherweight, he isn't a physically dominant force compared to someone like Alexander Volkanovski, who has successfully competed at lightweight. While Topuria has power in his hands, that power may not translate as effectively against bigger, stronger opponents who can absorb damage better. Strength plays an even bigger role in clinching and grappling situations. Makhachev has repeatedly demonstrated his ability to control larger opponents against the cage, using leverage and raw strength to impose his will. If Topuria struggles to break free from the clinch or defend takedowns, he will likely find himself stuck in disadvantageous positions throughout the fight. Another key factor is how each fighter absorbs damage. The durability of a lightweight is typically greater than that of a featherweight, simply due to the mass difference. Fighters moving up in weight often struggle when they realize their strikes don't have the same impact against naturally bigger opponents, while their own ability to take damage is compromised. If Makhachev is able to walk through Topuria's best shots without being phased, it could discourage Topuria and force him into a defensive approach, which plays directly into Makhachev's game plan. Unless Topuria bulks up significantly and proves that his power and physicality translate at lightweight, he will be at a major disadvantage in a fight against Makhachev. The difference in natural size, strength, and endurance could be the deciding factor, making it even harder for Topuria to impose his striking against an opponent who is used to handling bigger and stronger fighters. Another crucial factor in this fight is whether Ilia Topuria's striking is enough to neutralize Islam Makhachev's grappling. Topuria is an elite boxer with knockout power, precise combinations, and excellent head movement. He has showcased his ability to dismantle high-level opponents on the feet, often overwhelming them with his pressure and sharp counterpunching. His victory over Alexander Volkanovski demonstrated his ability to land clean, fight-ending shots against one of the best strikers in the sport. However, striking is only effective if a fighter can keep the fight standing, and this is where Makhachev's skill set presents a major problem. He has repeatedly nullified dangerous strikers by closing the distance, smothering their offense, and forcing them into uncomfortable grappling exchanges. Fighters like Charles Oliveira and Dan Hooker, both known for their striking, struggled to land clean shots before being taken down and dominated. Makhachev's ability to cut off angles and force opponents against the cage limits their ability to create striking opportunities. Additionally, Topuria's striking relies heavily on explosive movements and aggressive forward pressure. Against an opponent like Makhachev, this could leave him vulnerable to reactive takedowns. The more he commits to his punches, the easier it becomes for Makhachev to time his entries and bring the fight to the ground. While Topuria has knockout power, landing that one perfect shot against a fighter who is constantly threatening level changes is significantly harder than it seems. Unless Topuria finds a way to keep the fight standing and create space, his striking advantage may be nullified before he has a real chance to use it. Makhachev's experience and fight IQ also play a major role in why he would likely defeat Topuria. Having been in the UFC since 2015 and training under Khabib Nurmagomedov, he has faced a variety of styles and consistently adapted to neutralize his opponents. His victories over Oliveira, Tsarukyan, and Volkanovski showcased his ability to follow a disciplined game plan, adjust mid-fight, and exploit weaknesses. Topuria, while extremely talented, has yet to face a wrestler or grappler of Makhachev's caliber. His fights have primarily been against strikers or grapplers who could not impose their game. While his performance against Volkanovski was impressive, Volkanovski is a featherweight who had already taken damage in recent fights. Facing Makhachev is an entirely different challenge, one that requires elite takedown defense, endurance against relentless pressure, and the ability to win scrambles against a world-class wrestler. Ultimately, Makhachev's ability to dictate the pace, his size and strength advantage, and his suffocating grappling make him the clear favorite in this matchup. While Topuria has the striking and confidence to challenge anyone, he would need to show elite takedown defense and the ability to fight off his back, two things he has not yet proven at the highest level. Until he does, Makhachev remains the safer bet in this hypothetical showdown.